Team of insiders standing by live for more on this morning's top stories. Sunny Hassan, our senior legal analyst, is back. And this first story comes out of Chicago, this controversial police shooting. They released 9 videos of the shooting. You see a lot of them right there, a lot of the dash cam videos. But one crucial video is missing. That was on the officer who was on the scene. Apparently it was not turned on. That's what the police are saying right now. But that has led some to charge a cover-up.
That's right. And everyone is talking about a cover-up. And that's because, as you mentioned, 9 videos released, some from dash cam, some from body cameras. But the most important video would have been the body camera, from the body camera of the officer that fatally shot Paul O'Neill in the back. And so this was supposed to be sort of an era of transparency for the Chicago Police Department, which has been plagued by allegations of racism and, brutal police force. And so now you have this pilot program with body cameras that should have been very helpful, but now it doesn't seem like it's that helpful because a lot of the behavior, quite frankly, that was caught is very shocking, very disturbing. You see officers cursing at a fatally wounded teenager. You see officers high-fiving after the shooting, and you also see officers, quite frankly, pointing to the body cameras and telling the other officers to turn them off. This has led not to the transparency and to the good feelings in the community, but in fact to more distrust between the police and the African-American community.
Right, quite the opposite. So based on what you just said, what those tapes have shown, could the officers involved in the shooting be charged criminally?
I think it's very possible, and that is because it is clear that it's against department policy to shoot at a car that's going away from the police. 15 shots were at the car. And I think it's also important to note that he was shot in the back, and the Supreme Court has held that generally you can't shoot a fleeing felon in the back. So looking at all of that, it is possible that we could see criminal charges stemming from this case.
Yeah, we're going to be following this one, Sunny. Thank you so much. Got to move on to a major league retirement. A tough day for Yankees slugger Alex Rodriguez. I don't know if you guys saw crying during his press conference, tearfully announcing he will play his last game on Friday. Take a look.
I love this game, and I love this team. And today, I'm saying goodbye to both. I never thought I can play for 22 years. At 18, I just wanted to make the team.
So a lot of questions given that he's so upset. Was this his decision? We've got TJ Holmes here with us. Good morning, TJ. So what do you make of this sort of abrupt mid-season retirement?
Well, it's what we've come to expect from Alex Rodriguez, right, in his career. Nothing's ever simple, and it's not this time at all either. Now, we can call this a retirement, or you can say he was going to be released. That might be the truth there. Turns out the Yankees are essentially trying to move another direction. They want to get younger, they want to get better and look to the future. And when you have a 41-year-old on your books making $20+ million a year who's batting 200, he is not in the plan. So they were probably going to release him at the end of this season anyway. But that wouldn't have been very ceremonious. They just would have parted their ways. But this way, they brought an offer to him, essentially to say, hey, we'll let you do this. We'll let you keep your salary, and even the salary you're owed next season, and you can stay on as an advisor. So he's essentially going to get $27 million to go away. But everybody gets to save face here a little bit. He's had kind of a tough relationship with the Yankees over the past few years. He's repaired that to a great degree, but this way on Friday will be his last game. He's been riding the bench, guys, really for the past month or so anyway, if you haven't been paying close attention. So he said that was been embarrassing for him.
TJ, like you say, everything about Alex is complicated, but look at the stats. You know, you've got 3 MVPs, 14 All-Star teams, 4th on the all-time home run list, but of course the scandal, including season-long suspension for that steroid use. So how do you sort through it?
One of the most polarizing athletes in sports, but also one of the greatest in baseball probably as well. It'll take some time before people forget some of the bad and remember the good, but it'll take some time. It depends on what he does once he walks away from the game to see how people remember that legacy of his.
Okay, TJ, thanks very much. Let's move on now. Renee Zellweger back in the news. She's slamming tabloids, firing back at speculation she had plastic surgery. This was in an essay for the Huffington Post, and she wrote that it's not anyone's business, but I did not make a decision to alter my face, have surgery on my eyes. Let's talk to our friend Larry Hackett, former People magazine editor-in-chief. And Larry, this story has been swirling around for some time. She's got a new movie coming out, I think, in September, another Bridget Jones movie. And this was kicked up this time by Renee herself.
It was. You know, these pictures that emerged of her new appearance came out in the fall of 2014, and she had nothing to say at that time. I think the idea behind this, as you hit on it, is the movie. Bridget Jones's Baby is coming out in about 5 weeks' time, and the idea that Renee Zellweger would have to answer over and over and over again at press junkets and on red carpets, did you have plastic surgery, is something neither she nor the studio wanted to do. This way, she answers it once. Whenever anybody has a question, she can say, I answered this once in my essay in Huffington Post, and that to them will be the end of it. So I think this is absolutely a kind of preemptive strike to stop just a barrage of questions coming out.
You say to them that will be the end of it. Is it the end of it?
Well, I think people will decide. Listen, I have no idea whether or not she had plastic surgery. The photographs speak for themselves. I think what happened here is that this story had grown. You know, the New York Times ran a story about this. So I think the idea, and she mentions this in her essay, is that this had left the kind of world of tabloids and had bled into sort of mainstream media. And I think that would have been fair for people then to ask the question. So I think this is a way to kind of nip it in the bud as this movie comes out.
Nice choice of words there with the nip. You know, there are other celebrities, Larry, who are taking sort of a different approach. I want to point out Orlando Bloom, Justin Bieber, both caught with their pants down, if you will, shot on vacation and don't seem to care. Is this a movement, sort of, I'm going to live my life? And if I get caught, I get caught, but I'm going to live.
If you know, being on a paddleboard naked is your thing, I guess that is how you live your life. So, you know, I guess you could come to expect it. You know, I don't know where these photographs came from. The Bieber photos looks like it was someone that he was with. So, you know, it's up to them, I suppose.
Yeah, did they get caught?
That picture of Orlando, he's really paddling away there.
He is well said. That's almost as good as the word nip. He really is paddling away there, Laura. Very well put.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you. Thank you, TJ. Thank you, Sonny. Great to
Security
see you
concerns
all.
that have been in the headlines here in Rio. The bomb squad saw some action yesterday, and there was a scare over a stray bullet. ABC's Matt Gutman joins us now with more on all of that. Good morning to you, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Amy. Now, the bomb squad apparently detonated an unattended bag, and organizers are saying that no Olympic venue was the target of that stray bullet. Still, lots of jitters here in Rio. Now, we saw a room full of explosives, apparently confiscated by the criminal gangs in the city. They included RPGs and homemade grenades that you can buy for just a couple of bucks.
On day one of the Rio Olympics, fresh security scares. A stray bullet ripping into the media tent of the dressage equestrian event. Rio 2016 officials say the event was not the target, but it was only the start. As the games began, it seems the lines never ended. Spectators bunching in the heat, lines stretching nearly a mile, and magnetometers not working. And then at the road cycling event, the bomb squad rushing in for what turned out to be an unclaimed bag. Rio's bomb squad took us deep inside their operations with a demonstration of exactly how they use robots like this one to conduct those remote detonations. Wow, they're up against this. Mostly improvised bombs used by Brazil's gangs and drug lords.
Wow.
This is our warehouse.
This room crammed with confiscated bazookas, explosives, even rocket-propelled grenades.
This is live ammunition.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
All right,
Yes.
we'll put that back down.
3,000 of them confiscated just in 2015.
So basically every day this is what comes in. Little bombs like this, grenades.
Yes.
As for the untold arsenals of these deadly weapons still in the hands of the so-called bad guys, keeping them out of the Olympic zone is a grueling job, often conducted in this bomb suit.
Oh my God.
Just getting it on is a three-person job.
So how many hours would you have to spend in this suit?
Depends the driver.
Now, security officials here tell us that they're not so worried about the criminal gangs in the city. What they are concerned about is a possible lone wolf attack, Amy.
All right, and Matt, I have to ask you, you and I both know it's been very hot here the last few days, near 90 degrees. What was it like in that suit?
It was hot and it was stinky and it was kind of like running around in a sumo suit. But the good thing, Amy, is it had one of those like rip-off pants that basketball players wear. So even though it took a while to get in it, getting out was pretty easy. Amy.
All right, well, we're glad that so many men and women are out there protecting us all here in Rio.
Then we begin
so much,
tonight
Matt.
with breaking news. Tragedy at a major American water park. The details just coming in. Word of a child killed on the world's tallest water slide. You see it there. The park now closed through at least tomorrow. The investigation just underway. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez with the latest. Marcy.
Tonight, a day at the water park turning tragic. A 12-year-old boy killed on this massive water slide in Kansas City, Kansas.
We are saddened to share that a young boy died on Baruch this afternoon.
The boy's family with him at the Schlitterbahn water park at the time of the accident. The park immediately closing down. Investigators rushing to the scene, now working to figure out what went wrong on this giant water slide, the Verrückt. It's billed as the world's tallest water slide, reaching higher than the Statue of Liberty. This file video showing the 168-foot plummet, riders reaching speeds of up to 45 miles per hour. Its name, Verrückt, means crazy or insane in German. The ride so risky, once every rider climbs the 264 steps to the top, they hear this.
There is a risk inherent to the activity.
A 2-page safety warning. ABC News getting special access when the ride opened in 2014. Even getting a look at the testing. Sandbags strapped into floats go flying off the slide. Originally, the Verrückt capable of launching riders up to 70 miles per hour down the slide and reaching Formula One acceleration. So fast, engineers had to slow it down. The slide's opening delayed time and time again. Tonight, park officials confirming to ABC News the park was inspected for weeks before it opened this summer. Investigators are on scene in Kansas City tonight. We're told the park will be closed tomorrow. Tom?
An incredibly sad story. We'll stay on top of it.
Now,
All right,
to new
Marcy,
trouble for Oscar Pistorius. The former Paralympics champ from South Africa rushed to the hospital after injuring his wrists in prison where he's serving time for his girlfriend's murder. ABC's Lama Hassan has the latest. Good morning, Lama.
Yeah, and good morning to you, George. Well, Oscar Pistorius is now back in his jail cell recovering from what are being described as minor wounds to his wrists. So what happened to Pistorius? Well, according to him, it was an accident. He fell in his jail cell and injured himself. But there are some who believe he may have been trying to take his own life. One of the most famous former Olympians in the world, Oscar Pistorius, is fighting back, denying claims he was trying to commit suicide, saying he had fallen after losing his balance on his stumps and slipping in his jail cell. But the South African media are running a different story, suggesting it was a suicide attempt, that he was bleeding heavily, claiming there were razor blades found in his cell after the incident, with reports of an inmate describing his wounds as, quote, definitely self-inflicted. His brother Carl categorically denying these claims, tweeting, I know that there are reports saying that he tried to injure himself. They are completely untrue and sensational. All other crazy and unreliable news stories are also baseless. He slipped in his cell and injured himself. Nothing serious. And the hospital he was treated at releasing this short statement. The Hosi Mapura II Correctional Center attended to Oscar's minor injuries on his wrists, but further sent him to Califong Hospital for treatment and was returned to the center. Pistorius is behind bars serving 6 years for murdering his girlfriend Riva Steenkamp. Battling this verdict, the prosecution saying it will appeal again, arguing the sentence was, quote, shockingly lenient. While Oscar's brother Carl hammering home the point that it was just an accident and nothing more, urging people not to believe those media reports, saying he himself went to see his brother in his cell on Sunday, saying that he was doing well and in good spirits. George?
Okay, Lama,
tragic accident at a popular water park. A 10-year-old boy killed in Kansas on what is deemed the tallest water slide in the world. The park closed this morning as investigators try to determine what went wrong. ABC's Alex Perez is in Kansas City with the latest. Good morning to you, Alex.
Good morning, Lara. It was a beautiful day here at the park, packed with families, when something went terribly wrong.
This morning, authorities investigating what went tragically wrong at this popular Kansas City water park.
The mother was screaming, "He's not moving, that's my boy."
ABC News learning the 10-year-old son of Kansas State Representative Scott Schwab died while riding what's known as the tallest water slide in the world here at the Schlitterbahn Water Park. Schwab telling ABC News overnight, since the day Caleb was born, he brought abundant joy to our family. We are comforted knowing he believed in our Savior Jesus, and they are forever together now. We will see him another day.
But it still brought tears to my eyes that someone else lost their child. That's my child's
age that I'm sure they felt was safe.
This morning, while the city grieves, investigators are remaining tight-lipped, not releasing any details of what happened Sunday at the Kansas park.
Our thoughts and prayers are with the family during this difficult time.
This is what the ride, called Verrückt, German for insane, looks like from the top. Standing at 168 feet high, it's taller than the Statue of Liberty and plummets its thrill seekers a jaw-dropping 17 stories in just seconds. Tubers hitting speeds of nearly 70 miles per hour. Commercials for the ride even asking the question,
are you insane?
The slide requires a minimum height of 54 inches, and 2 to 3 riders must be in a raft with a total weight of at least 400 pounds. When the ride opened 2 years ago, sliders had to be at least 14 years of age. That has since changed. But before the ride even opened, many raised questions about its safety, especially after watching these early safety tests showing sandbag dummies flying off the slide. The ride's opening delayed at least 3 times while the park reworked it, adding seat belts and safety netting.
Quite possibly, this incident is not going to be a result of a mechanical issue, more possibly a result of a human error.
And the park will be closed today as a group of investigators works to figure out what exactly
An 18-year-old on his very first jump was one of 2 men who died over the weekend in a skydiving accident in Northern California. Investigators say the men were diving in tandem, attached to each other, when a parachute failed to open. The skydiving center was also in the news earlier this year when a plane carrying 17 passengers took off from there and then landed upside down.
We had a parachute that appeared to not deploy, and we had 2 fatalities from it. We, like I said, handled the coroner's investigation of that, and then the FAA will handle what the contributing factors are.